Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Purgatory. Now the focus of today's video is not going to be this fight in the background against Winter Soldier. However, her animations are beautiful and it is impossible to deny. She's one of the best looking characters in the game in my personal opinion, and I absolutely love it, which makes today's video even more painful because she indeed is a completely butchered beauty. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to imply that she's absolutely worthless champion. She's not as bad as Super Scroll or Psycho Man came out, and her numbers actually are tolerable to a degree. But here's the problem. Her numbers are borderline tolerable. And if you don't believe me, I'll prove that a bit later. Hence the background fight. Her animations are dazzling. Her utility kit is nowhere near good enough to compete with these numbers in mind. Now, the best thing she has going for her is that capture soul mechanic, where she gains different abilities based on what kind of class opponents she fights. And there is a champion like that in the game already, and that is Mr. Sinister. Now, Mr. Sinister also notoriously lacks damage, but even ignoring Mr. Sinister's damage, one of the reasons why he never gets played is because you do not necessarily have control over the classes of the opponents that you go up against. You just don't. It always depends on what quest, what path, what sequence, which fight you're going to do, stuff like that, and it introduces a variable to her abilities that's just far too unstable, just like it is in Mr. Sinister's abilities. Therefore, majority of the people as a 9 years old don't even know what Mr. Sinister's abilities are because nobody ever wants to bother because the juice is not worth the squeeze. In this case, if you are going to give a champion abilities that are based on what champion she does or does not fight along the way, then they have to be broken. They have to be busted, or we have another Mr. Sinister situation in our hands. And in fact, Mr. Sinister is even superior to Guillotine 2099's mechanic, and that is one, it's easier to get the souls. You just need to KO the opponent. Yes, Guillotine can get the soul ability in the fight, not necessarily after the fight, but there will be situations and settings where if the opponent dies too quickly, or if you do not manage to kill him with a special attack, you will not capture the soul regardless of having fought an opponent of appropriate class. So that introduces an element of potential failure. And then on top of that, the most important thing is Mr. Sinister, at the very least, is keeping his abilities for the rest of the fight. And even that is a fail. So a champion who gets additional abilities for 2 fights only, based on which champions you are fighting against, has to be broken. It absolutely has to be. Now, don't get me wrong, there will obviously be some sort of scenarios where Purgatory can do something very cool, because some of those abilities are quite cool. No question about it. But she is just far too impractical, far too gimmicky, and not realistic. In 100 tricky scenarios, she might fit one. And it's very doubtful that she's going to be the best answer for that one scenario where she technically fits. And I spoke about numbers and Mr. Sinister. Actually, it would have been poetic if I actually recorded Mr. Sinister's fight here, but I did record some others. So here we can see 231 hits as a fully synergized, all of her synergies basically active. 5-star rank 3 against Winter Soldier in Realm Legends. Now, it is not catastrophic number by any means if you're comparing her with 2015-2016 champions or some of the weakest hitters in the game. Let's compare her to someone that, let's say, is considered as a relatively decently good damage output champion. Now, Jabari Panther. Now, Jabari Panther is a new introduction to Marvel Console champions as well, but she's far from fan favorite. First things first, they absolutely picked the worst skin for her from MROC, but that put aside, she's also a champion that's just well, it's definitely much more reliable than Purgatory, but she's just not well thought out. Even with all of that, damage output vastly surpasses that of Purgatory. How vastly? Well, we're about to see. So I'm gonna go for my second level 3, and it's perfectly fair comparison because I did go for level 3 with Purgatory as well. But either way, now for this point, and I'm not playing it perfectly at all. I have hardly had any practice with Jabari Panther, and I'm not trying to pretend to be a very good player. I should have dropped a heavy attack somewhere there at that point as well, by the way. That one's on me. But I'm going to be triggering that Panther's Beast mode again in a second. So here we are, dropping some decent damage, 10k crit there. And this is a champion of the same rank. Now I have synergized her up, just like I did with Purgatory. The results here are quite significantly different. And I'm sure that this comparison will not exactly convince everybody once again, because Winter Soldier is not the best measure of quality of the champion, but it is a relatively decent measure of damage output in this scenario, where neither of the champions have any specific benefit from fighting this fight specifically. Like Jabari Panther would benefit from a champion that's trying to evade her, and Purgatory would benefit from some more captured souls, for example. None of that is the case. This is kind of like relatively vanilla circumstance. But 130 hits, and I definitely could have finished it earlier, probably 110 hits or so. And then let's go even further. Let's compare Jabari Panther and Purgatory, who was 230 plus hits, remember, with Porky Pig. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Porky Pig, but I'll probably end up taking my 5-star rank 5 because I do find him fun. I do find him fun. I can't deny that. He's funny, he's goofy, he's fun, and level up is on, and I do have a science rank 45 gem, but regardless. So keep in mind that Porker has class disadvantage here. Porker has class disadvantage. And I'm gonna fast forward a bit. Again, I'm not the perfect player, but whatever. We're about to go to that level 3 bit, and I'm gonna make some mistakes along the way. I already did. I did get hit somewhere along the way, but still. So we had 5 Porker poppers active. We're gonna drop the level 3. The animation's quite funny. Yeah, take that, Winter Soldier. Very good. And let's move on. There we go. Now that is a significant chunk of damage there, if I'm not mistaken. We have 24 Porker Poppers active. 21 of them are reactivated. Now here I'm probably going to try to go for heavy attack. No, wait, but still, you know, I did have my charge drop, so now he only responds 7 of them. Still though, we have 8 power stings. Just need Winter Soldier to throw his special attack. Wonderful, he throws that. We reapply 4 of them. He's at 14%, and we're going to see the total hit count in this fight again. Same rank 3 5-star as the previous 2 fights. And class disadvantage on top of it all. The only champion in this video that fought with class disadvantage. So just drop that casual heavy attack. Why not another one? And he tries to activate special attack. The fight's over. 112 hits. So I guess you can see the difference there. So we have a Spider Ham at a class disadvantage, well, out damaging Purgatory by, well, factor of 2 plus. And Spider Ham, at the very least, has his kit at all times, and it is actually helpful. It is actually helping people. Now, a champion that gets easily outclassed by Pig to this degree, and hardly, if competes with the Pig in terms of utility, I just can't recommend this champion as a serious investment. Now, don't get me wrong, you are in control of your own account and you can rank up whichever champion makes you happy. And those animations will make a lot of guys happy. I mean, people. I mean, players, summoners. A lot of summoners happy. But I was all but guaranteed to grind for her as 6-star. Now I'm definitely thinking about it. I may or may not still do it just because I like collecting champions. But if I don't get her, I really wouldn't be that fast. And if I do get her, I definitely will not end up ranking my 6th after rank 3, I'll tell you that much. Because in her current state, there's far too much to know about her. Just like with Mr. Sinister, there's far too many variables, and there's far too little reward for whatever you do. And last comment that I wanted to mention, the idea behind draining your own power with a medium attack, shit. I can see what they're trying to do with it, but it's shit. Why? Because you rely on your level 3 or level 2 to do damage. Level 3 if you go in Abyss, or level 2 if you fight any other meaningful fight. And if you keep draining your power, you can't drop that level 2. And your damage mode expires. So it's another ability that sounds fancy on paper, but it is shit. So, I don't know. I wonder how much play this thing is done with these champions. Because this is a champion that I immediately put up for like a value update. This Purgatory release kind of reminds me of Mole Man, to be honest. Where the kit can be alright, with some changes. For instance, if you make all of these souls permanent, if you give her some better numbers, if you increase the damage bonus on special attacks and heal bonus in level 1. In fact, let's revisit the heal. Let's revisit the heal, which fights this. Jabari Panther. Let's revisit that heal. I think I finished the fight with the heal level. I think I finished the fight. Let's see how much she heals. I do have Suicide Mastery is active, but still, I do have increased damage from it. I healed 2% or 3% of my health. So let's check it out again. Yeah, so I have 19% when I activate my level 1. Go 20. 22%. Healed 3% of my health. Shit. So as I said, she kind of reminds me of Mole Man. We all know and love Mole Goat now. Mole Goat. Or call him as you will. But when he was released, he was extremely underwhelming. Very impractical to play. And his numbers were not good enough. And he had signs of very decent kit. But it just didn't measure up. Now, after the value update, they made him more practical to play, with giving more charges on heavy attacks, making the charges last longer, and a few other bonuses, but practically kept the same kit. Now, I do sincerely hope that Purgatory can be a great champion, but she's far from it right now. She is pre-buff Mole Man, or at least that's the way I see her right now. Which is, yeah, extremely unfortunate that once again we get a champion released that I would immediately push back to Kabam and ask them kindly to give her some love and put her numbers and abilities in order. Because right now they're not. They're really, really not. The only worthwhile thing about Purgatory right now, in my opinion, is the synergy with magic. Giving magic bleed immunity, increasing ability accuracy, and all that other good stuff. That's quite useful. That could potentially help in some situations in Alliance War or something. But other than that one single synergy for dimensional beings, no matter how beautiful this lady is, she belongs in the dumpster, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about her so far. But that being said, I'm gonna stop bumming you out, and I'll catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information